you like to recite? Would you like to go? Yeah. 2:15. 15. 1-5. Shall I recite one more time? Yam hina vyavatantyete purusham purusharshaba samadukha sukham dhiram somrutattvaya kalpate. Thank you. That's really good. Thank you. Would you like to go?
Yamahina Vedyante Purusham Purushusra Sabha Samadukha Sukhamdhira Somritatva Kalpate.
Thank you. Thank you. That's really beautiful. So I'm just going to read the translation. The translation by Srila Prabhupada. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anyone who is steady in his determination for the advanced stage of spiritual realization and can equally tolerate the onslaughts of distress and happiness is certainly a person eligible for liberation. In the Varnashram institution, the fourth stage of life, namely the renounced order, sannyas, is a painstaking situation, but one who is serious about making his life perfect surely adopts the sannyas order of life in spite of all difficulties. The difficulties usually arise from having to sever family relationships, to give up the connection of wife and children. But if anyone is able to tolerate such difficulties, surely his path to spiritual realization is complete. Similarly, in Arjuna's discharge of duty as a Kshatriya, he is advised to persevere, even if it is difficult to fight with his family members or similarly beloved persons. Lord Chaitanya took sannyas at the age of 24, and his dependents, young wife as well as old mother, had no one else to look after them. Yet, for a higher cause, he took sannyas and was steady in the discharge of higher duties. That is the way of achieving liberation from material bondage. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Agyantimirandasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this chapter is called Contents of the Bhagavad Gita Summarized. So the essence of all the chapter of Bhagavad Gita is summarized in this chapter because Krishna is talking about Gnana, means knowledge, knowledge of matter and spirit. The difference between matter and spirit is teaching to Arjuna that you should not be lamenting for the material body because it's temporary. So I can give you just a little bit overview of what's happening. So Arjuna is in the battlefield. He meant to be fighting with his own family. And Krishna is actually his driver, chariot driver, and Arjuna is a bit nervous and giving up that I don't want to fight anymore because they are my family members. How can I fight with my own family members? So they hear Krishna starting to advise him and give him guidance because he made him his spiritual master, guru. So Krishna was his friend, but now he's playing a role of a guru for Arjuna. So Arjuna is listening, and Krishna is saying that you should not be lamenting for the body because body is temporary. So that's the first lesson Krishna is teaching him, that although they will be all dead materially, like we also feel that when our loved ones, family members, passed away, we feel so much pain. Similarly, Arjuna is in the same situation. He doesn't want to kill his own family members. But Krishna is giving such a good guidance to him, knowledge to him, that although the body will be perished, body will be gone, but the soul which is eternal, spirit soul which is eternal, he will take another body. So if we take that way of thinking, then we do not lament about just about the body, because body will get old and it's like we changing the clothes. Body will needs to be changed after a while. So although they will die, but they will get another body according to their karma and the desires. So that's the first lesson he's giving it to Arjuna. Second, in this one is about karma. In this chapter, he's talking about. So the karma is like working with and without the attachment to the results of our karma. So Krishna is saying that you should be doing your karma, but should not expect any results about it. Results, you should be leaving it to me. Your duty is just to do the karma. So that's the second thing is described in this chapter. And the third thing it describes is the most important one for all of us is the bhakti, the devotion to the Lord Shri Krishna. He says that a person who is fixed in it, real self means super soul, Paramatma, that is the bhakti. So in this chapter, he's explaining all that, and therefore, this chapter is called Contents of the Gita Summarized. Now, in this verse, we will talk about a couple of things. The first one is Krishna says to Arjuna, he is the best man. Why would be Arjuna would be the best man? Second question arises after that is, who could be the best man? What is the qualities of the best man? And the second thing Krishna is describing here is that one should be tolerating happiness and distress without being disturbed and performing their duties. So the question arising, why should we be tolerating happiness and distress? What is the result of it? We don't do anything without thinking about what would be the outcome of the situation. So we should know why should we be tolerating happiness and distress as well. So that's the second thing we will talk about. Third thing is, if we tolerate all these things and what we're getting is a liberation, that's what Krishna says, that you're eligible for liberation. Now, what is the liberation actually? Common people, normally we think liberation means free from this work, material life and everything. But Krishna explains in a different way, so we will talk about that as well. Also, while we're going through the happiness and distress, ups and downs of our life, what should be our consciousness? What should we be thinking about it? Because tolerating the difficult situation and circumstances is not very easy. So if we just, without understanding why we're going through it and why should we be tolerating, if we just tolerate it, it will be a burden and one day it will just explode. So Krishna is giving us an understanding why should we be doing all these things. So we'll go one by one, all the guidance Krishna is giving it to us. So the first one is, he's saying that, oh best of the man, Arjuna. So the reason he's saying to Arjuna, the best man is, one time in Krishna's pastimes, Govardhan Leela happened. In Govardhan Leela, Indra, who is the father of Arjuna, he tried to test Krishna, that Krishna is a real God. He's a young boy, how can he be real God? And also he was very offended that Krishna's father Vasudeva did not perform any sacrifice for Indra. Instead, he did the sacrifice for the Govardhan, which is a hill in Vrindavan. So Indra was very much offended. So he poured down so much rain. He ordered his assistants. So the whole Vrindavan was flooded. That time, Krishna, to save his devotees, Brajavasis, he lifted the Govardhan hill, and all the devotees were underneath the hill. They did not get affected by that flooding at all of Indra. Indra realized his mistake, that what he did was wrong. He actually offended Krishna. So when he came to apologize, and he said that, I'm very sorry for what I've done to you and your Brajavasis and your people, but I will give you my best son, and that's Arjuna. So that time he uses this word for Arjuna, that he is the best man, and that's the title given by Indra to his son Arjuna. So Krishna is actually using this particular word here because he's reminding Arjuna that you are the best man. How can you behave like this, not to fight and not to do your duty? Because the best man supposed to be tolerating happiness and distress and not to get disturbed by it and performing their duty. So your duty is actually, as a Kshatriya, you're supposed to be fighting. So Krishna is just trying to remind him his qualities and his title given by his father Indra. So sometimes we also feel that like we need to encourage people and tell them that you can do this. You are capable of doing it. So that helps us to understand that we have a responsibility. So Krishna is telling to Arjuna that you have a responsibility as a Kshatriya, so you should be fighting. That's why it's called best man here. The second thing is here is Krishna is saying is the best man supposed to tolerate happiness and distress and not to get disturbed by it, and also performing our duties. It's a very difficult task, to be honest, because happiness, we are happy to receive it, but the difficult situation is very, very challenging sometimes in life. The reason Krishna is asking us to tolerate all these things is because if we tolerate all these things, we will be eligible to go to the spiritual world, which is where we can get the eternal life, eternal happiness. So, Arjuna, although he was quite perplexed and disturbed, but he performed his duty because of Arjuna's, Krishna's guidance. But in our life, we don't know why should we be tolerating all these things. So Krishna is telling us by Arjuna that we should be tolerating this situation, because that way we will be asking the question ourselves, that why am I going through like this? Although I'm a nice person, I do everything properly in my life, why am I going through such difficult times in my life? That is the question we all need to ask. If we don't ask these questions, life will go by and we will be still doing the same thing, solving one problem after another problem after another problem. And the life is not meant to be just solving problems. Life is meant to be for the higher purpose, which is, Krishna is saying here, your real duty is to come out from this material bondage, which is material cycle of birth, death, disease, and old age. That is our real duty. Because the life is temporary, so is the problems are temporary. But the eternal life is full of bliss, happiness, and knowledge. If we think that there is a drama going on, and in the drama the hero is getting beaten up, we think that what kind of drama is this? Like this director has got a wrong plot here. The main person is getting beaten up. But that's only one part of the drama. If we can wait patiently and see the right through the drama at the end there is a good end, because that person is persevered through the difficulty, through the happiness and all of that, so he can achieve his goal. Similarly, we also have to do the same thing, that while we're going through the difficulties, what should we be thinking? Why we're going through this is because, first of all, is our previous lives' misdeeds. And that's why we're suffering in this lifetime. Second thing is, if we do not suffer only happiness in this life, we will never question. We will never question what is the purpose of my life. And therefore, it's like there was one building, the engineer was building one big building. He was on top floor. And the workers were working downstairs, and there were lots of people passing by. So he just decided, the engineer, that I want to throw some money down and see what's happening. So he started to 10 rupees, 20 rupees down. He must have done that for 5 times. People were just taking the money. They never looked up even that who is actually throwing the money. Then he thought that, look, nobody's even checking who is giving money. Then he decided to throw the stones, small stones. But that started to hit people. And then they looked up. Who is throwing the stones? similar situation for us as well. As long as everything is going smooth, we will never ask the question that why we getting all this happiness and good life. As soon as we will get some problems, we will start to question, why is this happening to me? Why is this Krishna doing this to me? That's how I felt in my life when I was going through the difficult situation. There was a time when I was going through very, very difficult time. I was in Krishna consciousness that time, but I was quite new. And I was quite upset actually. And I was praying quite a lot for guidance. What am I supposed to be doing in this situation? And Krishna actually listens to your prayer when you pray very sincerely. So Krishna reciprocated with me. And one morning, when I was listening to the class from Bhaktivedanta Manor, which is online, so I was listening to a class. And that day, Chandramauli Maharaj, His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj was giving class. Right through the class, I felt that that class was just meant for me. He was just talking to me only. And that made all the sense to me. Because answers I was looking for, it was just right in that class for me. So that verse is very, very important to me up till today. So I'm just going to read the verse in the translation. Tatenukampa susamikshamano punjanuvetma vipakam ridve vapurva bhividam namaste jivetayo mukti padase dayabak. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki jai, Shri Shri Sitaralam Lakshmana Hanuman ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. So the translation is, my dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reaction of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So this was very important for me. I needed to listen to this that day actually. Because I was going through the difficult time, I wasn't sure what my consciousness and my thinking should be. Because if you suffer without knowing, that's painful. But if you suffer with knowledge that why you're suffering and what you're meant to be thinking in this moment, that helps you to progress in your spiritual life. So that time, I changed my thinking. I started to think that Krishna has given me this opportunity to surrender to him. And if I think that this is my own karma, I packed my own suitcase, and I have to carry this. Nobody else will carry my misdeeds. So I have to go through it, but the good thing about this is Krishna is there to help me. He sent the devotees to help me. He sent the people who was guiding me. So the devotees were there all the time with me to help me out. Previously, when I was not in Krishna consciousness and I was in a similar situation, but it was very painful for me because there was no devotees to help me out and guide me what to do and how to react, how to respond to this situation. So this time, because of the Srila Prabhupada's mercy, I had the knowledge, and therefore I sailed through that difficulty but learned my lesson as well. which was very, very important to me up till now. Whenever I see other people, devotees going through the difficult time, I tell them the same thing, that important thing while you're going through the difficulties is to remember that you must be faithful to Krishna, not to blame him, but faithful to him. And have a grateful heart that say, Krishna, although I'm going through the difficulties because of my misdeeds, but I'm very grateful because of this difficult situation. I am praying to you very intensely, and also my prayers are very sincere. If we are so grateful, with grateful heart, tell Krishna that how can I serve you in this situation? He will be very pleased. He will be very pleased. You know, it's like if we have two children, one is very, very uh, good boy, like without complaining, he just gets on with life. Never complains about anything. Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? Why did you do this to me? But the second child will be always complaining that, oh, why is this happening to me? Why do you do this to me? As a parent, we always obviously feel that first child, we feel compassion for him, we feel love for him because he just gets on with his life without complaining about anything. Krishna feels the same. He feels for us, although it's because of our own karma, but we are grateful. We are not complaining, so he's very compassionate towards us. So therefore, if while we're going through the difficulties, if we think like this, that Krishna is always there for me, he sends his devotee to help us, although it's not, although it's our own misdeeds. So this is the reason while we're going through the difficulty, this should be our consciousness. Second thing we should talk about is what is the liberation? So the liberation is normally commonly understood is we should be free from our material life. We should be free. We don't have to do anything but just rest in peace. But the soul's nature is not like to be just rest in peace. It's naturally active. The soul wants to be active in a relationships and to do something. That's our nature. We can't be just sitting and doing nothing. So here Krishna explains the liberation means liberation from the birth, the cycle of birth, death, old age and disease. We all want to be immortal, won't we? Everybody tries. Like science tells us that we could be immortal one day as well. We can be immortal actually, because the soul is eternal, immortal. It's just the body we changing one after the another. So soul is eternal. So liberation means to get out of this cycle. We're constantly going from one body to another body, which is 84 million pieces of lives we're going through, one after another, according to our karma and desires. And this is our real duty to come out of it. And that's the purpose of this life, human form of life, because in any other form of life, we could not do this. Only in human form of life, we have an intelligence to come out of this cycle. We can go up or we can go down. It's entirely up to us. So Krishna is telling us that you can come out from this cycle and become an immortal. But it doesn't end there, just to be free from everything. But what do we do after? So he's just telling us that once you come out of this birth and death cycle, you can enter my spiritual world. And the spiritual world, if we know what the spiritual world is like, we will never want to be here again. Because in spiritual world, it's like permanent holiday. There is no stress, work, anxiety, depression, health issues, relationship issues, nothing. It's only happiness and bliss. In spiritual world, Krishna with his friends every day gets up, gets ready, takes his breakfast, and goes for picnic. His friends just having a good time every day, taking the cows and to the pasture grounds and pasturing ground and taking the cows and just enjoying himself. We could be one of them as well. So our original constitutional position is we were meant to be with Krishna. We were there once as well. Due to our desires that we wanted to enjoy without Krishna. Therefore, Krishna created this material world so we can enjoy ourselves because he is a well-wisher and good father. He wants to fulfill all his children's desires. So he created the material world and said, if you want to enjoy without me, you can have to go to material world because in spiritual world, he is the only enjoyer. But by coming to the material world, when we start enjoying by ourselves, the results of our karma, because we want to enjoy ourselves, it binds us one karma after another karma after another karma. And we get into the cycle of birth and death. So therefore, Krishna is giving us a chance here that liberation means you will be entering to my spiritual world, which is not very easy to attain normally. But in this age of Kali Yuga, especially in this age, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago, just 500 years ago, to give us this process. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, but he came as a devotee. He wanted to show us how to become a good devotee and how to come back to spiritual world with Krishna. So he came as a devotee. Srila Prabhupada says in a purport that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas at the age of 24 and he's Krishna himself. He didn't have to do all this. When he took the sannyas, he had a very young wife and a mother who didn't have anyone to look after. Still, he did that because he wanted to spread this holy name, the bhakti cult, to everyone. And therefore, he voluntarily took all the austerity for humanity and to help all the conditioned souls so they can come back to spiritual world. But that was Krishna himself, Lord Chaitanya. Recent year, just 50 years back, our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, he started this movement, Hare Krishna movement. When he was at the age of 70, he was very happy in his spiritual life. He was in Vrindavan and he had a very good life there. He was doing his bhajans, but he felt compassion for living entity. And he wanted to help everyone. So he took voluntarily austerity as well. Who goes to foreign country, who never actually left the India to go to America and where he doesn't know anyone with just 40 rupees? He left Vrindavan from his own comfortable life to go to America with just 40 rupees and Srimad Bhagavatam. So he can help us all. And he started this movement in America. But while he was doing all this, he faced lots of difficulties. He had 2 heart attacks while he was going to America in the uh, journey, Jaladuta. But his compassionate heart and love for the people allowed him to take all these austerities and help them out. And when Prabhupada wrote this Bhagavad Gita, somebody asked him that there is so many Bhagavad Gitas. Why are you writing another one? Prabhupada says that this Bhagavad Gita is as it is. I haven't changed anything. Whatever Krishna spoke, I am just repeating and translating in English language so the Western people can understand. So, this Bhagavad Gita changed and transformed people's heart and made them a devotee by just reading it. I can give my own example that although I come from Hindu background and I knew about religious activities, but when I first time read Srila Prabhupada's book, it made sense to me. Why am I doing all these activities, spiritual activity, religious activities? I was doing it. I was just doing it because my parents told me to do it. There was no knowledge behind it. But when I read Prabhupada's book, it made all sense to me that why am I doing all these things? What is the reason about my religious activities? What is the goal of the life actually? And therefore, Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita made so many devotees. And that helped us to come closer to Krishna. So, this process is not very difficult. It's very, very simple. All we have to do is change our consciousness. That's why it's called Krishna consciousness. We have to make our consciousness like Krishna's consciousness. What is Krishna's consciousness? He's very loving, caring Father. He comes to this material world just to perform the pastimes so we can be attracted to him. He comes as a devotee to help us. He sends his devotees from spiritual world to help us. That's how caring and loving Father he is. We have to become like that. Care for people, feel compassion for people. How can we help people, you think? The best way to help people is let them know about how can they go back to spiritual world and give them a knowledge about it. That knowledge will help them eternally. Helping them temporarily with money, this, that, it will be all temporary, but if you give them a knowledge, that will help them eternally. So it's very, very important that if we know this knowledge, we should tell others. It's like if there is a sale somewhere going on, nice sale, we should tell them, we should tell our friends and family, oh, there is a big sale, please go and get things. This is actually a big sale. This 10,000 years is the sale, because in this 10,000 years, this Krishna conscious movement will be spreading like a fire. And everybody should take opportunity to take on this and come out of this material world, because this is the only opportunity we have. So I will pause here. If there is any questions or comments anybody have, I can help. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't understand your
Like you said,
question.
Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
Our consciousness will be Krishna consciousness.
Oh,
But
yes.
we think that it's not our consciousness, Krishna's consciousness. So if we are able to think like this, that whatever I'm doing, my Krishna's wish, there is nothing our like intention that we are just doing our karmas. We are not waiting for our results. Good, bads coming to us, we are not taking pains. We have left submitting ourselves to Krishna. So you are telling me, you are telling that like this kind of feeling is like part of Krishna consciousness.
No, if we doing things for our own pleasure, for our material gains, that's karma. But if we are doing any activities for the pleasure of Krishna, that would not bind us in any karmas at all. So it's our consciousness should be changed. For example, I'll give you the example. We're going to go to shopping anyways to buy the vegetables, fruits for our family. But Prabhupada says, same activities we can do with spiritual consciousness. We can think like this, that I'm going to go to the market today and I'm going to buy vegetables and fruits for the Krishna, whatever he likes, and I'm going to offer it. Now that activity is changed. That we will not get bound by that activities because we're doing for Krishna's pleasure. Although the activity is the same, but the result will be different of that activities.
It's like intention.
It's the intention behind the activities. Same thing like you're going to cook pizza anyway for you yourself. But if you think before you starting to make that pizza, I'm going to make a nice pizza today and I'm going to offer it to Krishna, I'm sure he will like it. That's it. That became a prasad. It's not food anymore. And that prasad will change our consciousness. So what I'm saying is we have to change our consciousness only, not the activities. We should stay in our same position. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that we do not need to change our position, our place, anything. Just change the consciousness, motives behind any activities. Intention should be how I can please Krishna. And that's it. That way, we will be always situated very happy because we are doing everything for the pleasure of the Lord, not for ourselves. We do not get bound up into the karmas because of that.
I understand. Mataji, so in temples here, the temples, I used to go to Radha temple. People always used to say that willpower. Even I'm in the monk challenge, you know. So what teacher told me that if you everything lays on Krishna, then what's the what you are doing? Like, it's not everything is doing by Krishna. But today, one another teacher, Prabhuji told us that he said that before Gita was knowledge of Gita was given to Arjuna, someone came like the so millions of years ago, and he gave it to someone else, and then again it was given to Arjuna. If the Gita was given millions years ago, that means the incidents going to happen in the Kurukshetra, it was fixed by earlier. If something fixed earlier, then today if someone is doing this, then this person is not doing this, not from his willpower. Actually, it's from Krishna's wish. So where is their karma? Where is the willpower? If someone said you have the willpower, but here I am saying that nothing willpower of Arjuna. It's everything prefixed. Because prefix this was it happened earlier. Like Ramayana, Valmiki Muni wrote the Ramayana. Then Ram came and did this. Before Ram came, it was published. That means it like already happened. It's just again it's the this was
So we always have a free will actually. Karma is there, but we always have a free will. What we want to choose. It's like this. You have a choice of going to the temple or cinema. It's a free will. It's entirely up to you. As you're saying about Ramayana was already written and it's prefixed. So we are going in a cycle of millenniums after millenniums. So those things happen, which is Ramayana was written in a different millennium, different times. And that's carried on. Gita was already spoken. But in time, everything perishes, everything goes away. So Krishna has to come back and do it again. So therefore, Arjuna asked the same question, that how do you know that this was already spoken before? But Krishna says, you do not remember, but I remember everything. Everything was, Krishna doesn't, Arjun doesn't remember, but Krishna remembers everything. He says that I have spoken this knowledge to sun god before. But in time, everything goes away. So therefore, Krishna was giving this knowledge again. But we always have a free will. It's entirely up to you. Once we land on the, we get on the plane, it's entirely up to you. You want a vegetarian food or the non-veg food? It's your choice. We make choice all the time. Krishna is, the love is not like force. Krishna doesn't force us to love him. It's supposed to be our own voluntary desire to love him. That's our free will. He can't force it.
Mataji, for me, I'm so sorry. Krishna, yes, I'm understanding Krishna is forcing someone to love him, but Krishna can change someone, Krishna can make someone like that way, you will fall in love with him.
Yeah, he can do it very easily.
Basically the same thing. Krishna wants to
He can do it. He can do it.
so everything comes from only his intuition.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah.
आप गा रहे हो?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Arati Koshoba Jana Vitata Vani Jago Jaramanoluba Jaya Jaya Gaura Chander Arati Koshuba Jana Vitata Vane Jagamanoluba Dokine Nitai Chan Vame Gadadara Nikate Odoito Srini Vasha Chatradara Boshi Ache Gaurachan Rotna Sinhasane Aroti করেন ব্রহ্মা আদি দেবগণে নর হরি আদি করি কমর দুলায়া সঞ্জয়া মুকুন্দ বাসু গোস আদি গায়া শঙ্খ বাজে ঘণ্টা বাজে বাজে করতালা মধুর মৃদঙ্গ বাজে পরমার সালা শঙ্খ বাজে ঘণ্টা বাজে বাজে করতালা মধুর মৃদঙ্গ বাজে পরমার সালা শঙ্খ বাজে ঘণ্টা বাজে মধুর 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 বাজে শঙ্খ বাজে ঘণ্টা বাজে মধুর 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 বাজে শঙ্খ বাজে ঘণ্টা বাজে মধুর 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 বাজে শঙ্খ বাজে ঘণ্টা বাজে বাজে করতালা মধুর মৃদঙ্গ বাজে পরমার সালা বহু কোটি চন্দ্র যিনি বদন উজলা ডালা দেশে বনমালা করে জলমালা শিবা সুকা নারদা প্রেমে গাদা গাদা ভক্তি বিনোদা দেখে গররা সমপাদা জয় জয় গৌরা চান্দে আরতি শুভা বিতাতা বানে জগ মনলুবা গৌরাঙ্গের আরতি কশুবা জগ মনন লুবা গৌরাঙ্গের আরতি কশুবা জগ জনমোহন লুবা গৌরাঙ্গের আরতি কশুবা জগ জনমোহন লুবা লুবা
Could we please everyone raise our hands for 2 minutes to surrender ourselves to Krishna? Let's forget everything and say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
নমো বিষ্ণুপদায় কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণায় ভূতলে শ্রীমতে ভক্তিবেদান্ত স্বামী নিতি নামিনে নমো বিষ্ণুপদায় কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণায় ভূতলে শ্রীমতে Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Sundara Paschatya Desakari Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachari Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Rama Nanda ki jai. Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Nitai Go Premanande Hari Bol.
Jaya Vishnu Pad Paramahams Purvaracharya, Ashtutar Teaching Divine Grace, Prabhupada ki. Jaya Vishnu Pad Paramahams Purvaracharya, Ashtutar Teaching Divine Grace, Shri Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Raj Prabhupada ki. Nanta Kota Vaishnav Vrinda ki. Namacharya, Shri Haridas Thakur ki. Vemsa Kahoshi Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gradha Shivash, Arigaur Bhaktivinoda ki. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopakavanant Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki. Shri Mayapur Dham ki. Shri Bhaktivedanta Manor Dham ki. Shri Prabhupada ISKCON Dham ki. Ganga Mayamuna Mahi ki. Bhakti Devi ki. Shambhaveda Bhaktivinoda ki. Shri Haranam Sankirtan ki. Shri Tulsi Devi ki. Nitai Go Premanandi. All glory to some of the devotees. All glory to some of the devotees. All glory to some of the devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Glories to Sri Prabhupada. Krishna.
Just sing louder. Yes. Just let everyone know.
Prabhuji Mataji, Shakira, please sit down so we would you so we follow everyone.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Pranata Jaya Bhagavan ki jai. Nitai Go Premanande.